Hey there, hi there, ho there. It's me, Bear, Gen X GM. How y'all doing? I hope you're all doing well. Sorry we're a couple of minutes late, but that's becoming a habit around here. And I guess I just need to get over my uptight time thing that I have. I will never get over it. Spoiler alert. Spoiler alert. I will never get over it ever. But that's okay. So joining us tonight, we've got Mr. GM Cody, Mr. Gaming with ADHD, and all the way from the great world of Palladium Games, Sean Owen Robertson. How you doing, Sean?
Good. How are you guys doing?
Not too bad. First time having you on. You and I were on another one together previously, so I was really happy to see you show up tonight.
Yeah,
glad we are. Well, you know what? This is. Listen. Okay. Let me lay down a couple of realities here about how we do things around here. This is not Legion of Myth. we tend to try and be a little more decorumed as we go. A lot less chaos.
So you're telling me I need to keep I need to keep my nose clean on your show, huh?
Oh no, I don't monetize. Say what the fuck you want. I don't give a shit. But it's not quite the free for all yeehaw that can be over on Legion of Myth sometimes.
Okay,
Roger that. Yeah.
Hold on. In Max's defense, that night was something else. That was not.
Yeah, I mean that was a charity stream for the Wounded Warriors, so that's a little different.
So let me explain the amount of times I've been on Legion of Myth where it's been something else of a night. It's starting to become that's the norm. Hi, Max. I see you in the chat. Hi. No shirt, no streaming. What the hell's Robin talking about? Robin, stop huffing the glue. Sean's normally on the Sunday show, which is formatted. He doesn't join the Friday streams. Okay. So, okay. And
so, yeah.
Gotta be careful with these. You let them in once and then they want to take over your whole channel. I swear to God. I blame Brian. It's all Brian's fault.
I would
notice he cannot deny it. He's responsible for me meeting all these people. It's the Mal Reynolds gif all of a sudden, so it's perfect. All right, so we are here tonight not to talk about Palladium games, though I'm sure it'll sneak in with questions from the chat, I'm sure. But we are here tonight to talk about the wrong Thanksgiving, which is the one you Americans celebrate, because for some reason you decided to do it after Frost, when the rest of the civilized English-speaking world does it at the harvest time, when it was a harvest
We'll
festival.
do whatever we want.
Everyone on the planet is well aware, Sean.
Yes, that's right.
Well, hold on. What is this Frost that you're talking about?
Listen, not everyone lives in Arizona there, Elf on the Shelf. Okay? All right? That's the work with.
I will say, I mean, we are in a warmer, more temperate zone than your entire country. So
you're where? Are you in Arizona as well?
No, I'm from Texas, but I'm in Michigan. That's where Palladium.
Yeah, I've been to Michigan. That's horseshit. It's cold in Michigan. I've been to Michigan in winter. I arrived.
There's no snow on the ground right now. This is we're doing great. I think it's a great time for Thanksgiving.
2018. I arrived. It was green. The next morning there was a blizzard. At the company I was there for 2 weeks with, they blamed me for bringing the snow from Canada.
It's probably true and real.
It is. It snowed like almost.
I'm wearing a light jacket into
there.
Work every day right now, so we're definitely not in some frost period.
No, but the rest of the civilized world that's north of all of you people, I bet
that's not much of the civilized world, to be fair.
Such a shame that Sean can't stay for the whole show. Oh, bye, Sean. Bye.
I was going to say,
thank Sean for showing up for a couple of minutes and then GTFOing. Thank you, Sean.
I was going to say it started so well, but then I'm like, wait, we've only been going for 4 minutes. It hasn't gotten going.
Have you been here before?
A couple of times.
Like, you would think by now, 20 episodes in that you've been doing this, you'd have understood that, like,
I don't know. I'm good on other people's shows, but just not yours, I guess.
Well, I think I bring it out of you because we were doing the same thing over on Max's show. We were just kind of like, ha, hey, hoo, and I think it's fun. And it's good. All right. So the whole point of tonight's show is to talk about the things that we are thankful for. Specifically, of course, we're talking about gaming and nerdery and geekery and all that kind of stuff. I mean, I'm so thankful for my sweet Aunt Petunia who knit me a sweater. Like, okay, that's just a little too much, Brian. But
hey, don't knock Petunia.
I did. The check bounced, son. Anyway, before we get down that rabbit hole. So first off, I do want to say my biggest thanks of giving this year is going to be for you monkeys, you Z-nuts, because it's been a hell of a year of growth for the channel, and the Discord pop along and the viewership on the live streams and all this kind of stuff. It's been pretty awesome. Pardon me. So I'm very thankful that you've all come along. Not everybody's still here that started the journey with us. That's the nature of YouTube, but those seats were warm and people took them, and that's the way it goes. Oh my God, Game Masters is here. What's going on? Ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, we haven't seen him in a dog's age. How you doing, brother? I like my neighbors north of here. I got some nice Crown Royal from there. Well, we believe that you should always get a dice bag with your alcohol. It's just the Canadian way. But that said, I will talk about other things I'm thankful for as we go along, but we're going to start there with Mr. Cody. And Cody, what would you like to say your first thing in the nerd world you're thankful for this year?
Well, I've said it before and I'll say it again. The thing I'm most thankful for in the gaming community as a whole is all the great friends I've made and all the great people I've met. All my best friends throughout life, all my real friends, I met through gaming. And, I still have friends that, I met in first grade, through or, third grade or whatever through gaming. And we're still lifelong friends. And I'm still making friends, obviously, here, right?
Whoa, slow down.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hard to insinuate anything.
Man, you guys like boundaries are not a thing for Americans, I guess. No, I'm kidding. Cody's my boy.
Yeah.
You all know it. Cody owns the cool 70s van with the heavy metal Tarna painting on the side. Right. We hang out in the parking lot smoking cigarettes while Brian comes over.
See behind me? That's what's on the van.
We may or may not be dealing drugs. You don't know. But everyone thinks we are, and that's all that matters. All right. So, the friends you made along the way. What else, sir? What else you got there before we move on to near Brian's litany?
No, that'd be my first one for sure. I mean, gaming, that was the most important thing it did for me, is really broaden my social circle, and it made me more charismatic, made me more confident. And the reason for that is because I met all these people, that encouraged me to do so. It's a social activity. You have, it forces you to be social. And even now, I'm not really a social creature, but it forces me to do so. Even just to share my passion of games, which I love to do, I have to be social in order to do that. And I love that.
Kim banging pots, or is that Raven banging pots?
It's Kim. I'm sorry.
It's not Raven.
Okay. Is Kim in trouble? Because I heard 3 bangs. Do we need to send a rescue party?
She's fine. I promise.
Yeah,
I've been sitting here the whole time.
Yeah, you've got minions. Well, thank you for that, Cody. All right. Brian, what's your first up on the thank thing?
Oof. Well, I mean, it's kind of rough when Cody, steals pretty much everything I was going to say.
That's why I let him go first.
It's honestly, this last year has been really interesting from a gaming perspective, just because, I started my channel a couple of years ago. It was growing, but really the last year getting involved with Ubear, getting involved with Legion of Myth, like all of that has really re-sparked and rekindled a lot of my love for games in general. Between all of the coverage that Legion of Myth did of Palladium last year, I'm going to swing Palladium in here, not just because Sean's here. I may have gone a bit nuts on the surprise boxes last year and have weird ideas for what I would like to do this year, but I can't say much because she's just right over there.
Don't jeopardize your My Little Pony game.
But it has been fun. It's been fun to stretch my wings. Being able to like our Star Trek game, I'm having a ton of fun with that. Wanting to run more of my own games, which I know Cody is going to make me do at some point.
I'm sorry, what's this?
Shush.
What's going on, brother? I need to know because I heard something that made the holster perk up.
I don't know exactly anyways, don't stop pressuring me.
I'm pressuring you because
no,
Cody fucked up and didn't run Star Trek for me. So now I'm like, who's running a game I can play that I want to play? Who?
I don't know. We'll get there.
Yeah, we won't.
So yeah, that's really what I am most thankful for is just literally making new friends, people getting me excited about the games and wanting to play the games. I have the board game stats app. I've played more games this last year than I have in the last 3, which is surprising because that was, the depths of COVID, so yes.
Do we need to apologize to Kim for this?
For the record, she actually picks out most of the board games that we buy lately.
Ooh.
So, because if she likes it, then
we all likes it. Yeah.
Exactly. We all like it.
We all love it. It is the greatest thing ever. Really quickly, RPG Dad, no, if anyone touches Brian, Cody, and I will run them over.
Give wedge. It said wedges. I'm like, what is what? Then I'm like, oh, wedgies. Yeah.
No, it's for your heels, for your shoes, so you can be a little bit taller. That's all.
I'm already 6'1".
Yeah, whatever. Whatever, tiny.
But let's also be honest. When Kim wants to play the My Little Pony game, I'm going to end up playing. So. You're
gonna brony up, buddy.
But right, okay. I have limits. So All right, I'll stop talking. I'll let Sean have a turn.
Fair enough. All right, Sean, what is the first gamer nerdy thing you're thankful for this year?
I'm thankful that Brian is wearing a Rifts for Savage Worlds t-shirt.
Wow, it's such a shame Sean can't stay. I swear to God.
That is pretty sweet. Where do I get a Rift shirt?
This was from the first Rifts for Savage Worlds Kickstarter. Like,
nice. Oh yeah,
not even Suede edition.
Yeah,
Sean, do y'all have like official Rifts t-shirts?
Yeah, we got a bunch of Rift shirts at
a ton of shirts on their webpage.
Do they? I've never looked, but a Rift shirt would be really cool.
Yeah, it's pretty cool. We got I put together the Red Borg shirt last year for that was one of the new ones we did for the Palladium Open House. So nice. We got some cool ones.
If you get a Palladium Christmas surprise box, you can ask for a t-shirt.
Oh, just make sure to list your t-shirt size.
Right on. The thing that I was trying to do tonight was not turn this into a Palladium stream. And here we go.
It's not my fault. It's not
no. This is 1,000,000% Brian's fault. That's what it is. King Shill is what I'm going to start calling him.
Yeah, okay, it's still my fault. I was trying to get out of it, but nope, still mine.
But yeah, if there are any of that specific t-shirt left, you'd have to get it from the Pinnacle Entertainment store.
Gotcha.
But I think those are all gone.
Oh well. Okay, so beyond the comedy of Brian's supportive shirt, what is one thing you are very thankful for from the nerd community and the nerd world this year?
This year?
Yeah, or in general. I mean,
I mean, if it's this year, it's got to be the amazing turnout for the Kickstarter that we've got going for Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness Redux Edition. And I guess the big thing with that is just fans are so positive and have imbued the entire, all the Ninja Turtles creators are excited to be involved and love the fans, even though, Kevin Eastman doesn't play role-playing games that I know of, but he loves the fans he says every time he goes to sign books, people are bringing up the old role-playing TMNT RPG books for him to sign. And he says it just feels like this continuity since the very beginning, since Turtles was one of the first, the RPG was one of the first licensed properties. So I would just say that's been amazing to see, just people coming out of the woodwork and supporting it. And, making sure that people like Kevin Eastman are really excited to be a part of this again. So, I mean, Kevin Eastman, Peter Laird, they got so much money. They're so successful. They don't need to worry about us. Right. But really thankful for all that support.
Cool. It's an awesome thing. And all kidding aside, you're more than free to shill and pimp as you please. Just we're not turning this into a Palladium. The reason why is because I had asked Sean, and I'm also asking Kevin to come on for a dedicated 4-color cafe, which we can dedicate to Palladium in the future. So I don't want to.
No, that'd be great. That'd be great. Yeah.
I'd like to keep it a little focused, but he said he had much to be thankful for. So I said, well, come on over, man. We're going to be thankful together.
Yeah, and I really like that's genuine. I mean, it's just been, again, we've been bowled over. Again, not trying to shill, but we've got like 30 plus people doing tributes now in the books, including like Ross and Marshall Thurber, the writer director who did Dodgeball, Central Intelligence, Red Notice, and he's writing one of the intros for one of the books.
Nice.
I mean, it's just like all these people that have been influenced by the Palladium's role playing games. A lot of them started with Turtles, like me, or it was one of their first games, right? Okay. And so that's just really cool to see, it coming back around decades later. That's just pretty neat to see all the lives that have been influenced.
Nice, fair enough. All right. Well, I'm not gonna fill this up with stuff I'm thankful about because again, we do Thanksgiving in October here in Canada and the UK and everywhere else in the free-speaking world that isn't America. But it's okay. It's American stuff. It's American time. Cody, give me a number 2 on your thankful list this year for nerdery geekery.
This year?
Or in general, man. I'm apparently rules are hard for everyone, so we'll just go with open forum.
This year, I would say, I hate to get sappy, but you.
Mm-hmm. Me?
Yeah, you. Because you encouraged me to get back on YouTube again and start it up again. And it really boosted my love of gaming again, because my love was kind of waning there for a while. And I felt like the community was a little bit, around here, around my area, it was just, my face group kind of fell apart.
Mm-hmm.
I didn't have anybody that I felt like I could relate to with gaming. And then when I fell upon your channel, I was like, hey, here's a dude that, is his own guy, and we have some common ground here, and I like the way he runs games. I should start back and redo my, restart my YouTube again. So you were the inspiration for me to do that, and I'm thankful for it because it's been a lot of fun, and it's been good meeting all you guys.
Well, thank you. I won't play it for comedy. I'll take it sincerely, and I'll try not to be sappy. Thank you very much. I appreciate that.
No, I wasn't meant to be sappy. It was just...
No. But I mean, I could be like, why is Beans cutting onions? Beans, now's not the time to cut onions, Beans. I could play it for laughs, but I'll play it straight and just say, you know what, dude? I appreciate that. I really do. The goal was always to try and build a community, to try and build something we could all enjoy. Because I got really fucking tired of watching all the bullshit that was going on and the way people were just shitty to each other and tribing up, and it just bothered the living hell out of me. So I was like, let's do something we can all just get together and have fun and support each other. And remember, once upon a time, we were the prey, Sure. Well, not so much me, but the hobby was the prey. It was like we were the outsiders, and now we're pretty mainstream all of a sudden. So maybe we need to stop subdividing into bullshit. So and then I saw your channel, and I was like, man, this guy's awesome. I saw some of your stuff, man, and I was like, this guy's awesome. So there you go. So you're awesome. Everybody go subscribe to his channel right now. I want this guy at 1,000 by New Year's, man. Come on. Like, it's a sin that Cody is not at 1,000 subs yet. Brian's at 1,000. What the hell? No,
Shorts of BattleTech miniatures, man. It works. No, it's
I'm telling you, man. I'm telling you. I gotta see if I can introduce you to Mr. Welch, Cody, and get him on over there, and that'll get you some people that'll come over. And then if you're really lucky, you can get Black Pants Legion on and Tex. And
oh my gosh.
When you have Tex on a stream, your sub count shoots up because Texas people are loyal people, man. They're real loyal to him. So and they're good shit.
I can't. No, yeah. I mean, I've talked to Tex. He's a really good dude, and I enjoy his stuff.
Have you ever seen the Star Trek thing me, him, and a couple others did here one night where we just went off on this tirade about special start? Oh my god, that was insane.
That was hilarious.
My face has never hurt that much. All right, Brian. Number two.
I am grateful for
cookies.
All sorts of things. Well, that's the problem. Is there's a lot of things, and it's just, I think one of the issues with with it is how sometimes how personal it gets.
Mhm.
To me, I'm just, you know what, go to Sean. I want a couple more minutes to think about it.
It's just like turning into a litany with you every time. Just go to the next guy. I want to think for a minute. All right,
Yeah.
Go ahead. Sean, give me a number 2 on your list of things you're thankful for about the nerd, geeky, RPG, crazy world we live in.
Yeah. Well, just speaking to like the healing of the fandom, I guess partially. When I first started working on Rifts for Savage Worlds, I didn't do the original conversion. I started with I wrote the Empires of Humanity book, and they asked me to. Shane Hensley asked me to update everything to the new upcoming Adventure Edition of Savage Worlds, and so when we came out with a bunch of books, that meant I had to do all the line editing, and so but it was really interesting because at first it seemed like it was like Savage Rifts fans and Palladium Rifts fans were all like, like that scene in what is that, the Anchorman movie, right, where the news teams all come and they all got the weapons, right? And it really just felt like that. And then I remember talking to Kevin Simbita about it, and I was like, it's so weird that there's like this divided fandom, but it's all Rifts, and it's all the same core story. And so we put our heads together and we made some efforts. And when we did the Titan Robotics Kickstarter last year, it was really cool to see the fandoms kind of merging and everybody getting along and having a good time, and ribbing each other about which game system they prefer to use. But I mean, funny thing I found out is a lot of the fans, when we were doing the last open house here at Palladium, is they'll play Savage Worlds with some groups, and they'll play Palladium rules with their own home group, or their old gaming buddies and stuff like that. And so I thought that was pretty neat to find out that people were using both systems and kind of hopping back and forth depending on which one they thought worked better for different play groups. So that's a good thing to see. It's really fun to see the fandom coming together and all learning to love each other and love Rifts together.
Rifts, the glue that binds the fans together. No, you know what? That's a really good thing, because I'll tell you right now, I'm not a Savage Worlds fan. It's really weird, my relationship with Savage Worlds. On paper, I'm like, I should love this game.
Right.
Every time I play it, I'm like, I don't love this game. In my group, we have always had the same problem. We always like, why don't we love this game? It seems like everything we want, and we just can't put our finger on what it is. But I backed the Rifts Savage Worlds Kickstarter, and I got everything, not a t-shirt because I wasn't Brian, but I did the best I could. And I wound up giving it away to some friends, because as much as I love the Rift setting, it's just Savage Worlds doesn't scratch the itch for me, sadly.
Sure.
But thanks to talking to you on Mr. Legion of Myths channel, I'm actually getting a bit of a, do I need to bust out some Palladium Fantasy soon? I don't know. But then again, if Brian's going to run Rifts, I might have to play. Just saying.
I hadn't decided yet. No.
Okay, whatever. What are you thankful for finally, Dodger?
I think what I'm going to say is I'm grateful for, at least I'm going to say, in our group, that we have a lot of people that are different, that have different backgrounds, different beliefs, different ideas on how things should work. But we all do have a tendency to say, no, this is about the game. I'm going to set all of that stuff to the side.
Mm-hmm.
And we're going to be friends. We're going to, sometimes we'll be, a little combative. Sometimes, we'll take different sides. But at the end of the day, what's important in this situation is the game, is the hobby, is being able to just set all of that aside and be grateful for each other and for the hobby that we've got. I was I know I've told the story before, but I was quote unquote the weird kid in high school that even the weird kids didn't want to invite to play the game. So I've got my books. I am rebuilding my Rifts collection because I let it go at one point, but I had them all for years because I loved it. I loved the story, even if I never got to play. So, at least this group puts all that aside, and we have fun with it. And I'm also grateful that I'll probably get to run a Rifts game, and we'll see how horribly sideways that goes.
Yeah. Especially since Cody's like, I want to play a juicer. I'm like, oh, fuck.
What's a Rifts game without a juicer? Come on.
Apparently. No, that's good, man. That's really good. I appreciate that. I'm just thankful for this little nonsense thing we do every Wednesday. Right. I'm really thankful for it because it's been a really great way to meet some interesting people and just have some conversations and laugh and cry and piss some people off and make some new friends and just feel like we're a bunch of idiots at the gaming store sitting around a table talking shit with each other, because like, what do grognard gamers and old Italian men have in common? At some point in time, we're just going to be sitting around a table talking shit about stuff, disagreeing with each other, getting mad at each other, talking about how things used to be better in the old days, and it's pretty awesome.
Can we do it over a plate of spaghetti?
Oh, Jesus Christ. Zeg Media would like to apologize for the racially insensitive comments.
You said old Italian, guys.
I didn't say spaghetti. Yeah. You just had to go there. No, in Montreal, we have this really awesome phenomenon here, which is this place called Montreal North St. Leonard. And it's a part of town where it's very, very Italian. And you go to any McDonald's, any cafe, and there'll be a table of like 60-something bunch of Italian guys all talking Italian to each other, copies of the newspapers from home on the table, arguing with each other about everything, but obviously clearly really good friends. And that's kind of a little bit of what we got here, which I really like, is that everything I say, Len will come in and go, well, I agree, but here's why I disagree. And then he'll do an entire diatribe on that. You'll play devil's advocate for everybody. Cody is the X factor, where he'll just be like, well, I agree with Bear, or no, I'm going to have to disagree with Bear on this one, and it's just really fun that we all do this with a lively chat, always with us, of people who for some reason listen and enjoy us jibber jabbering, and I will never understand that. But I'm really thankful these people are all here, and I'm really thankful we get to do this. It's a really great thing. I would love people in the chat. If you don't forget, super chats are available. So if you'd like to proclaim what you're thankful for in this gaming community, nerd, geeky world we live in, throw up a $2 super chat, and we'll read it up here for everybody without a problem. All right, let's get out of the and let's get into the hoo-hoo. What else is going on in the world right now? What other gaming stuff are we really excited about? I mean, I've heard that some 80s independent comic that was a cartoon used to have a role-playing game. I think it's Samurai Pizza Cats. I think
Care Bears.
That's
Care Bears.
Care Bears. Care Bears is coming back out as a game. I hear that's a big thing that everyone's super excited for. What have you heard, Cody?
Well, I hear there's a Kickstarter for TMNT, and I'm super excited for it.
Have you backed it?
I have not yet, only because I haven't done it once yet. But I will be backing it. I will be buying it because TMNT, the Palladium game, was not the first, but one of the first role-playing games I played when I was a youngster. So I'm super excited for that because it's very nostalgic, and it still holds up. It's still a really fun, cool game. So
listen, all y'all, this is Sabotage. There are 6 days left on this bad boy, and unfortunately, you're gonna have to see this in Canadian because I'm in Soviet Kazakhstan. But look at that.
That looks better though because it shows it's over 1 million.
It looks better in Canada, but it's 913,000, and there's 6 days to go.
In real money.
I'm sure in real money. I'm sure you guys can get them over that $1 million mark. I mean, there's some really great stuff. There's some pledges that are gone because you're too late, as I recall. But there's tons of really awesome stuff here. Sadly,
some of the really high level ones, we only had so many old like what do they call them? Printer negatives.
Yeah.
From the original books that we could
all the high end stuff is gone, but there's still plenty. If you got $888, you can jump on in there and back them all up. So please do that. Now I've got a couple of super chats I got to deal with, which is Curtis saying, I'm thankful for everyone here. Thank you, Curtis. I'm actually going to say this. Curtis was the first real Zenith super fan, to the point that when Dale and Shane and I would be trying to figure out the course of Zenith and what we were going to be doing, we used to joke and laugh and say, if only we could have 100 Curtises. If we had 100 Curtises, we'd have everything we need and we'd be good to go. Sadly, I got 100 Bryans instead, but that's okay. 100 Bryans adds up to 1 Curtis, and that's all that matters at the end of the day.
That's
thank
probably
you, Curtis.
accurate.
2 full
And then-
Curtises.
Yeah, well, yeah. And then we've got Legion of Myth saying, fine, guilt me into it. Thankful for all 4 of you. Well, you know what, Mr. Liao? I don't give a crap about your Capellan nonsense. That's all for you guys to argue about. I'm not a Battletech bitch, so I don't care. But apparently you're a basic Battletech bitch because you like the Capellans, is what I've been told to understand. But I am thankful that you're part of this whole thing.
That's calling it high praise. No.
Well, I found out on Hungar's stream the other day that I'm the most basic of Battletech bitches because I like Davian.
Cronus
boy,
Combine all the way.
I got lit up for saying that I like Davion. They were just like, they're the
come
most boring
on.
vanilla. Everybody's starter house is Davion. They went off and I went, yeah, because there's nothing to them, so I can project whatever I want onto them and make them my own.
I got a controversial take.
What's that, Brian?
Federated Commonwealth.
That's Steiner. That's Steiner and Davion together, right?
Yes.
That was a bunch of stupid shit. It never happened. Never
Yes,
happened.
I'm
Katrina
with Sean.
Steiner's a bitch.
That's not wrong. That can still be true and be a FedCom fan.
For those of you watching right now, Brian's brain is going, how does Bear know anything about Battletech? What the hell's going on? Like, it's good to keep him guessing at all times. Well, later when I bust out some Shadowrun on him, he's going to be like, what the fuck? And then
By the way,
yeah.
oh, sorry.
No, go ahead.
I noticed Per put up that comment. I didn't want to interrupt anybody, but thanks for thanked us for signing the
Yes.
particularly for signing the Christmas surprise package. That's what it's all about. We love to do that. So
Absolutely.
genuinely signed by us, not like stamps or anything.
Wait. Nerds nerd. Are you talking shit to me over Davian? Is that what that is? Really, nerd? That's awful tough talk for someone who isn't currently on the stream. With her
Right.
radio voice. So
Can't defend themselves.
why don't you go ahead and keep talking your shit, nerd? And when you got some guts, Marine, ask me for the link and we'll get you in here to chat. And then you can take your shots mano a mano.
Okay, I'm gonna interrupt real quick because we should have been paying more attention to chat because there've been some really good comments in there.
Mm-hmm.
And I just saw one from Per that I have to address. It says, Brian, you're a tribe mate of mine, and that I too live with a neurodevelopmental disorder. You inspire me. You make me feel happier and less apprehensive about talking gaming on places like YouTube. All right, I will admit I hate some of the terms associated with that just because I don't like how it tends to put things down for people, like imply that there's something wrong with them. I look at my ADHD that it is a challenge. I don't focus on crap. You all have watched me. That's fine.
But, no. Nothing's better than saying a word while you're trying to talk and watch you go.
Totally breaks me. But honestly, thank you for saying that. I want people here. I want people talking. Like I said earlier, we put everything else aside, whatever it is, and we focus on the games. It doesn't matter what kind of a nerd you are, what kind of a fan you are. Like, we can put all of that aside and just talk about the games, whether it's Ninja Turtles or Battletech or Rifts or D&D or D&D 5th edition.
Ain't nothing wrong with that. Ain't nothing wrong with that.
No, there isn't anything wrong with it. And seriously, come here, talk, have some fun. I have seen you in all the Legion of Myth chats. So absolutely get out here, talk with us, have the fun that you deserve to have because of this hobby. Anyways,
And now
there's my rant.
continuing, the Per gets to get featured without super chatting. Cody, I dig your RPing style in Sojourner. I like how you're selfless and team-oriented. I also like your Blackmore and TMNT videos. So there you go.
Thank you, sir.
Just going to keep scrolling down until I see the one where Per says something. No, nothing nice for me. Okay, I'm just going to shut up. No,
It's coming.
He did. It's coming. But first, the Chill Gamer says, thankful that Palladium is still putting out wonderful content and all the new acquaintances I've made in the last year as I get back into the hobby. Well, that's what it's all about, brother. Sean, would you like to address anything there?
Yeah, I mean, there's not many people left in the industry like Kevin. He started Palladium from the ground up. He was working as an artist, and then he said, he's running a game for his buddies, and 26 of them apparently. And yeah, he runs big groups sometimes. Yeah, that's what got him to finally, they got him to create his own role-playing game from the completely, he started playing D&D and then it evolved, right? But it's a testament that the first edition of Palladium fantasy role-playing game, it was virtually almost all his art, almost all his writing, right? I mean, that's pretty amazing, and he's kept it going until now. And yeah, I'm really happy to be part of keeping the wonderful content coming out and all the support that the fans give us. Rome wasn't built in a day, but we are building a whole new generation of Palladium to keep more cool stuff coming out and give you more stuff for the future. I think that one of the cool things that we're really excited about with this campaign is for everyone to see the end books with the full color, remastered, updated, modern layout, the streamlining for a lot of the rules and text. Yeah, look forward to more of that coming in the future.
Awesome. And you said what wasn't built in a day?
Rome.
So when will we be seeing the Rifts Rome source book?
It wasn't built in a
day.
Savage Rifts. The next world book is going to be Europa. Ooh. And that is going to feature the Neo Rome faction.
Ooh. Curtis Thompson says Davian isn't boring, it's French. Mais là,
what's the difference? They seem like
regarde, okay, je veux prendre 2 minutes pour parler de ça parce que moi, là, je suis fatigué d'écouter les Américaines quand c'est pas les francophones. Vous n'avez seule raison pour arriver comme ça, là, parce que vous n'habitez pas avec. Moi, je suis Canadien, je suis Anglais, j'habite avec les Christ de francophones. Moi, j'avais beaucoup de raisons pour dire les choses mauvaises. Toi, là, non, pas du tout. But anyone who understood that can cancel me in Quebec. All right. Per finally does get to me and he says, Bear, I like how down to earth you can be. Have you met me? I love your Sunday mental health video. I should do more of those, but it's only when I'm feeling it on a Sunday. But thank you. I'm glad that did some benefit. And you're real. And you're a fun GM to watch. Keep it up, please. No plans on stopping. Thank you so much, sir, for the kind words. I really do appreciate it. Now, there's a whole bunch of non-super chats, so I'm just going to keep scrolling by them. That's what I'm going to do because you know the rules. All right, Max Liao, the Capellan, almost said a C word.
Confederation. The other C word is Confederation.
That's it, the Capellan Confederation. You get to tell us what you're thankful for.
I already did in chat. It's old news now.
Use your fucking voice, bitch.
Wow. I thought this wasn't the Friday stream.
Well, it's like
until you joined.
How this affect on people? Great.
You just add some spice to everything.
Awesome. Anyway, no, I mean, there's so many things I'm thankful for this year. I mean, I'm thankful for the folks in chat, most of who I recognize here in your chat right now. I'm thankful for, again, 3 of the 4 of you for being on my show. We'll get GM Cody at some point. And honestly, really improving it. There's definitely a different vibe between my show, say 2 years ago, when it was mostly, screaming for the sake of screaming, to now we're screaming at least about a topic. But seriously, the channel has been growing, and it's thanks to all the folks like you guys that I meet and have helped me along. I appreciate that. Chat has been absolutely wonderful. Surprisingly, because again, a couple of years ago, chat was pretty toxic, but now even chat's kind of come along with us. So no, it's I see nothing but improvements, and since my channel is doing well, my wife allows me to continue to do it. So happy life. So there we go. It's all good. No, I absolutely appreciate everything that one of you guys brings to the table, and I mean that.
And it's always a pleasure to be over there and hang out with you guys. And it does blow my mind that here I'm a raving lunatic and there I'm the based one on Fox RPG. Like, what the fuck? Like, that should give anybody who doesn't watch the Friday night show over there, like, think about this. If you watch me, you know I'll say whatever the fuck's on my mind. And over there, I'm the calm, rational one who's always like, come on, guys, let's all just behave. Like, it's amazing. It's the Roman Colosseum of RPG chat, and I wouldn't have it any other way because it lets me get some shit off my chest that I don't often get to do. So thank you for that. Elfbait, number 1, why aren't you joining us tonight? Number 2, I think everybody should go check out Elfie's channel. Sorry, Eli's channel. Thank you. Thankful there are some people out there who put up on my BS and keep me working on stuff. Dude, your BS is, again, anything you think is BS, Eli, is just not understanding the West Coast behavior. And thankfully, I lived in the Pacific Northwest for 8 years. I get it. I get that weird sound of the voice, the weird speech pattern, the almost like, as you and I have discussed, East Coast and West Coast are diametrically opposed in the way they handle conflict. East Coast, like, what the fuck did you say? What? I will fuck you up. Whereas West Coast, like, yeah, I'm going to just come over here and you just do what you need to do. And it's all like, it's really weird to sort of see the two together, but it's fun. And I love that shit. So good stuff. All right. Palladium, TMNT, fantastic. It's doing well. I can't wait. I'm not backing it. Sorry. I'm not a TMNT guy, but I'm looking forward.
I backed it twice, so I'll have my second one for you.
Oh, you're so sweet. What I'm waiting for is the eventual relaunch of Palladium Fantasy, and then I'm going to be in on that like a dirty shirt for whatever comes out for that, man. I'm going to be like, I'll be on my channel every day going, look at this, go get this. Because I tell you right now, my love of the Palladium Fantasy setting is, I just love it. It's such an interesting setting, and I'm a big fan of vanilla settings. And I've been bemoaning a lot lately the lack of vanilla settings that have been coming out. And we were funny on Yield Geek stream today. I think we hit it on the head that the last real big vanilla setting that came out was Dragonlance. And ever since Dragonlance, everybody's been doing like it's D&D, but it's set in the Middle East. It's D&D, but it's set in, wherever. It's D&D with robots. It's D&D, but it's a post-apocalyptic Ascidian planet, and it's like, okay, can I get a new vanilla setting that isn't Forgotten Realms, Greyhawk, Mystara, or Dragonlance, please? And I forgot about Palladium Fantasy. I forgot about that bloody setting. And then I went back and I looked into it and I was reading some PDFs. I don't know where I found them. Don't ask me. And I was like, God damn, I forgot how interesting this world is and how fun it is. And I've told you, Sean, on Max's stream, I want you guys to do a setting book for that in the biggest way possible, because I just think having all of that expanded and just, here's buy this. And then if you like what you read, go buy the Northern, go buy the this, go buy the that, and add to the thing. Would kill me to tears to have it. So I'm just waiting for that Palladium Fantasy Kickstarter.
Well, I actually talked to Kevin about your comments. I just let him know what you'd said. So,
And he said, what the fuck are you listening to Canadians for?
That's pretty paraphrased pretty well, actually. No.
I've known a few Americans in my day.
Real quick, Sean, I know you're usually reluctant to announce like upcoming releases, but I did want to know, when is the Sword Coast for Palladium Fantasy coming out?
The Sword Coast for Palladium.
Okay, that was a dig at Bear. That's what that was. I'm sorry, Sean.
Well, okay,
so Sean, that. Yeah.
So just to get it done, I now these days refer to the Forgotten Realms as the rest of Faerun, not the Sword Coast, since everything they produce is on the Sword Coast. So clearly they've forgotten the other realms, and that's why they call it the Forgotten Realms.
Well, it's so bizarre, right? Because, like I said, there's a lot of games that come out and they're like, it's this thing, but the depth of a lot of those settings, it's only maybe shin deep. I mean, you can't really get into it. It's not even really enough to carry a campaign, right? Or a few weeks of adventuring. So I think that's really kind of sad, because I think Palladium has shown that you can go real deep on unique settings, and people want that. People will keep buying it, right? Our big thing is making sure that we can keep putting out the good quality product at a faster pace, and so everything I've been doing behind the scenes is to enable that. So yeah, it's pretty interesting. No, it reminds me of something that Kevin said back in the 80s, late 80s, early 90s. He was being told by a lot of people in the industry, because he knew, and still knows a lot of the movers and shakers for a lot of the big companies, and they would say things like, "Yeah, you should everything should be generic. It should be a generic sci-fi, a generic fantasy." And this is after he had done Turtles and Robotech, and they were both explosively popular, right?
Yeah.
Not that Palladium Fantasy and Heroes Limited weren't doing well, but in fact, he said that he actually kind of pulled some of his punches when he did Palladium Fantasy, because of what people were saying about making something too unique. And he said, "You know what? F this. It's all wrong." And that was part of his pushback when he created Rips was, "I'm going to make something that breaks all these rules, that mixes magic and technology," which at the time was something somewhat, a lot of people said you couldn't do. This is, of course, before Torg and Rifts and Shadowrun and things like that, and really pushed for that unique world with. It's because you can't just have like, oh, that's a cool idea for a setting. You also need to have, okay, what kind of factions are going to be there? What kind of groups? What kind of characters or interesting people would it create that are going to be the movers and shakers? And
what do your players do in this?
What do you do? Right, exactly. What do you do?
Huge. So many games and settings I see these days fail to answer that basic question of what do the characters do. And for me, sorry to cut you off, but we're back and forth.
No. I agree.
If the answer is plunder dungeons, then I'm just going to go fucking play D&D.
Yeah, you need to have. I mean, you need to have a fun core gameplay loop, to use more of a video game design term. But I think that you can, for a role playing game, you can have the fun of building loops within loops, right? Mm-hmm. That continue and invite a lot of interactivity and storytelling. So that's one of my favorite things to work on. Are those kind of higher level mini games, I guess you'd call them, or game loops that all tie together in really interesting ways.
Well, you know what? This is good because it leads into a question that is being answered by people all over the place in the chat. But it seems to be something a lot of people are having a hard time getting, is what is vanilla fantasy, right? And it's a good question in that, what is vanilla fantasy? So I can only tell you what vanilla fantasy is to me. And I think that's the point of vanilla fantasy. It's what vanilla fantasy is for you. For me, it's going to be the basic shit. It's going to be elves and dwarves and dragons and kings and queens and, dungeons and all that crazy stuff, but they're all powered by magic technology from another planet, but the gods walk on the earth and you all serve one of them as a faction member. But, that's when you get out of the vanilla fantasies, when you start describing your world as a basic fantasy setting and then start adding the buts. But the elves are all 5 feet tall, but the dwarves are 7 feet tall. They're giants. It just gets into a place where it stops being so much fantasy.
Well, and that's, I think Full Metal Dragon said it. So vanilla fantasy is basic D&D fantasy.
Yeah. Basically, the proposed idea, when you pick up BECME or you pick up BX or you pick up AD&D, the fantasy they're proposing to you in that book, without really throwing a full setting at you, is vanilla fantasy, right? You go back to Isle of Dread and you get that little paragraph breakdown of the known world. There's not a lot there. You got to build on it yourself. You got to do your own thing with it, but it's basic fantasy. And it's kind of cool in that regard. And now Curtis has paid for me to say something before we go any further, and I have to do it, which is 50 years of innovation, dungeon crawling again. And if you guys don't get that reference, Notepad Anon, which is a pretty decent channel, did his review of Shadow Dark. And I swear to God, it's the greatest thing I've ever seen, because he doesn't shit on it, but he's like, so we're getting another D&D clone. $3 million, 50 years of innovation, strength, dexterity, constitution, intelligence, wisdom, and charisma. And he just really brings it to a point, which is, other than a couple of house rules, Shadow Dark hasn't changed the world, right? It's just like every other level of D&D clone out there. It's D&D with my favorite rules that I add into it. Now, not to gild the lily of Palladium here. The one thing I can say about Palladium is it's a consistent goddamn system. You know what I mean? I mean, you can really take the first edition stuff if you want and play it with the current edition of the game. It'll work. You might have to do a little math, but that's it. That's got to be dangerous. That's got to be weird in this world because everybody's always releasing new editions. They're always putting out, 4th edition, 5th edition. There's D&D 1 and all this kind of stuff. And yet, here's Palladium, did a revise way back, and have stuck to the course ever since. Do you think that's a strength, a weakness, or a challenge? Anyone? Not just Sean.
I'd like to hear everyone's.
Don't need new additions if you keep world building in such a fantastic manner. That's one of the things that happens with D&D a lot is the world building is so generic. Go back to that vanilla. That there's only so much you can do without either detailing where literally everything is, and it becomes so simulationist or so micromanaged that it's not fun. Dragonlance almost got that way at some point, or it's so generic that what are you supposed to write anymore? Let's talk about the moon, or let's talk about Antarctica, where there's just penguins down there. Now, Palladium's got so much more to explore, and I see this in all the videos that we've done. People are like, "When you cover in this book, ask Sean when they're going to write this book. When's the next not module, but a world book coming out for whatever? Insert game here. It's not just about Rifts or Palladium Fantasy." So I don't think it needs, just in my experience, it doesn't need a new edition, some clarity, but not a new edition because there's just so much world to still explore.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Anybody else?
Yeah. Well, I've always said, one of the things I always, I think is really commendable about Palladium is they have stuck to their guns for so long. Like, it hasn't changed. You know what you're getting when you're getting a Palladium game, love it or hate it. Like, it is what it is. And I think that's awesome. Hats off to you guys. Cause so many game systems have changed and try to keep up with the times. And Palladium's like, no, fuck that. We're going to give you the middle finger. Well, I mean, like, I don't know. I don't think Palladium's actually saying that, but that's how I feel about it. Right. It's kind of punk rock. It's just like, no, fuck you. We're going to keep doing what we do because we know people love it. We know people believe in Palladium. And I mean, it shows, people are still talking about Palladium today and still playing the game, still buying the books. And when you go to a convention, it just astounds me that, I go to Gen Con and there'll be a fucking line around the Palladium booth for people to get books, these, and it's the same books, you guys put out new books, but it's like, it's the same stuff. Like, you guys,
we don't get rid of anything that's
right. Exactly. And that's amazing. That's amazing to me. And it's really commendable. There's something to be said for that because there's not really many game companies that are still doing that. I think the only two I can think of, and I've said this before, is BattleTech and Starfleet Battles. But even those two have changed the game somewhat. You know what I mean? Like, BattleTech is still BattleTech, and it's still pretty much the same core rules we played back in the 80s, but it has gone off into the ether somewhere. And Starfleet Battles kind of the same way. It started off as a micro game, and now it's a phone book plus more of rules. But Palladium, no, it's still, you pick up a Rifts, you pick up the Rifts book, it still looks like the Rifts book that you bought, back in 1990 or whatever. So that's really commendable. And I think it's 100% positive.
I would like to jump in before Brian talks, which is basically, I agree with you on that. And I'd say the only other people I've seen in the gaming industry in the short run build up the type of loyal following that we see with Palladium is Troll Lord. Those guys, the Castles and Crusades crowd, are dedicated, and they don't make new editions. They do new printings where they might fix a rule here or there or clarify something. Here's some new art, but it's the same game. You go grab the first edition of Castles and Crusades. It's the same damn game you're playing today with some minor little tweaks along the way. And look at it. Look at how loyal their fan base is, right? Mutants and Masterminds came out with 1E, had a massive fan base. Came out with 2E, fan base was good, but they lost a lot of 1E players. Came out with 3E, picked up new players, but they lost some of the 2E people because they kept changing the fundamental way the game functioned to a point where it became not the same game anymore. When the gentleman who gave me the copy of Crooks, when I asked him last weekend when I picked it up, I said, why are you getting rid of this? He said, because I don't play 1E Mutants and Masterminds anymore. As much as I like reading the book, I don't use it in my game. Palladium, you can go use all your old stuff. Hell, you got Robotech books on your shelves? Yank those mothers out and see how a Valkyrie does against a Glitter Boy, just for shits and giggles. Now, I think the Glitter Boy is going to win that one because I seem to recall the Rift stuff was a little more powerful than the Robotech stuff, but I still want to find out just to see. I want to see a Glitter Boy take on a bunch of Invid. Are you kidding me? That would be awesome. All right. And Game Master says, y'all are going to make me pull out my old Pally books and start doing videos on them now. I hope so. And if you guys aren't subscribed to Game Masters, by the way, haul ass over and subscribe to this gentleman. He is a fantastic channel, great reviews, good presentation, super fun guy. Always been a friend of ours. Okay, let's keep going. Brian, you were going to say something.
So listening to everyone, I've been kind of wondering or wanting to come up with a slightly different way to approach it. Because I think there are a lot of facets to it. I don't think it's as simple as it's a strength, it's a challenge, it's a bad thing. I think it is a little bit of everything. Like, I do think it's a strength. Like, okay, going back to Thanksgiving, because you know how I like to loop things back around to the topic.
You know, you're going to have to start changing the name of your channel to Gaming with OCD at this point. I'm just saying.
Well, I am grateful that as I've been diving back into Palladium a lot more, like picking up the old books that I've already bought, and being able to just have that nostalgia, have that link, is an absolute strength. I was literally talking with Kim about it, and I don't remember why it came up. I want to say I was like watching the RPG Digest from Sunday, and Kevin Long came up. And let's be honest, Kevin Long art. It's very
iconic.
distinctive. It's very iconic, all over Palladium. And because they were going through Triax and the NGR, and so she's looking at the big stompy robots. She knows I love big stompy robots. I know she hates big stompy robots. But Kevin Long for Palladium defines big stompy robots. But I'm like, no, it's not just that. So I pulled out the book and I could go through. I'm like, oh, here's long art, here's long art, here's long art, and none of it had robots in it. So I love that touch point, that 40 years down the road, you can still have that connection. Now, can it be a bit of a downside? Yes. Gaming has evolved a lot over 40 years. But I will be honest, I can't say, oh, this is a problem or that is a problem, because as I like to constantly complain about, I don't have that same level of experience. But, I can't say, oh, maybe this should change, maybe that should change. But, are there things that could be done to improve Palladium? Probably. What? I don't know. I can't answer that question.
Just answer Nerds real quick. With what's in print now, I wouldn't know, but I would suggest backing the TMNT Kickstarter, because that's going to be the new sort of modern Palladium moving forward. The system's the same, but you're going to see how the look is going to change, the design, the layout, all that stuff's going to be improved.
There's
and then hopefully
clarifications for the rules, some
clarifications for the rules, better layout,
and
better organization. Yeah. So hopefully we're going to see, the rest of the line modernize as well. So I would say that'd be a great place to jump. But if we had to pick something that she could go buy today, what would you recommend, Sean, as the best jumping on point for Palladium?
I mean, just for pure mechanics, I would say Dead Rain is great. Everyone's familiar with Zombie Apocalypse, and it just really shines. I think it as a zombie role-playing game. So if you want something that you could throw down with some of your friends and have a good time, or get into some more serious storytelling, depending on whatever your vibe is, I think that Zombie Apocalypse is very approachable setting, because it's our modern world with this one important twist, and then it's got all the basic Palladium mechanics without the craziness of psychic powers and magic and MDC and big stompy robots and dog fights and stuff like that. So
this was called Dead Rain?
Dead Rain. Rain, REIGN.
Thank you. So
Well,
there
and
you
that's
go.
one thing that I would point out.
But if you're familiar with Palladium Fantasy, with fantasy games, Palladium Fantasy might be an easier entry point for your group. It really just depends.
Well, so Nerds Nerd actually does ask a kind of a follow-up question. She says the TMNT world does not appeal to me for an RPG. Is the main difference between the books just the settings? Now, I would actually say yes, to a point. I mean, there are differences between the different games, but literally pick a game that, or pick a theme that you want. You want to play superheroes? You've got Heroes Unlimited. You want zombie apocalypse? You've got Dead Rain. You want post-apocalyptic kitchen sink
Got it.
sci-fi fantasy? You've got Rifts. You want plain fantasy? You got Palladium Fantasy. So you could you want Call of Cthulhu? You got Beyond the Supernatural.
Yeah,
the system is the same.
Yeah,
but yeah, pick the theme you want on top of it, and essentially you can start there.
Yeah, so basically, Nerds Nerd boils down to what's your flavor? Because if you got a flavor, odds are Palladium's got it covered, and that's a damn fine thing to see. And then basically, you have to think of it. Okay, I'm sorry if this is gonna be weird, but I'm starting to look at Palladium as the Stephen King role-playing game, in that there's all these different things, and then Rifts brings them all together as the Dark Tower. You know what I mean? Like all of them are valid in Rifts, and it's kind of a cool thing that you could take your favorite character from your Palladium fantasy game, or your Dark Rain game, or your Beyond the Supernatural game, and have them whoop through a rift, and suddenly they're in the Rifts world trying to figure out how the hell to survive. As they get to be DBs because they're from another dimension at that point. But being a dimensional being in Rifts could be fun, especially when you fall out of a rift and the Coalition is right there. Now you're crap. And for those who don't know anything about Rifts, the Coalition are the equivalent of, I want to say, the Empire of Man in 40K, in that they have some weird thoughts and they're kind of sticking to them regardless, like what have you.
Yeah, without the Emperor worship.
Yeah, without the Emperor worship. Yeah.
He's trying though. I mean, don't give Carl Prosek a chance, and I mean he'll probably push for it.
All I'm saying is,
Joseph.
In my Final Age campaign that I didn't get to finish, they were going to run into some Splurgoth at some point.
Right. I mean, yeah, it's interesting. The thing that just to circle back around on that is that it is very interesting because a lot of the other companies out there have gone and they come out with lots of editions of their core one or two game worlds that might be original, and nothing against companies that function on IPs and just primarily doing a core system applied to a whole bunch of different IPs. There's nothing wrong with that, but good worlds are hard to build, right? And so it's really interesting that instead of doing the edition war, Kevin has focused on broadening the different IPs and game types under the Palladium umbrella using that same core system. And there has been slow evolution, right? And there are differences that in modern parlance, like say if you're familiar with Savage Worlds, they have what is it called? Like setting rules. And so you can say, oh, well, this is a rule for for this kind of game or this kind of game. And Palladium does that, but doesn't call it out. So in Heroes Unlimited, you can parry Energy Blast, for instance, right? Or we've talked about like in Ninja Turtles, everyone's prowl, the sneak skill starts much higher because you're ninjas, right? So there's a lot of things like that are there, but in the end, it's the same overall effect, but it maybe is an approach in a way that is as familiar to a modern gamer coming in new to it, that isn't familiar with it. And so I would say that in some ways, yes, it definitely is a double-edged sword because that does make the bar to entry a little bit higher. There's one of the things that 5e did, and I'm not trying to talk about the entirety of 5e, but one of the things that it did well was make the game easier to approach for general audiences. And so that's part of what we're talking about when we're talking about the rules clarifications and updating some of the terms in the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtles and Other Strangeness Redux Edition, is trying to just make that a little bit easier for new gamers or more casual gamers that are coming back 30 years later to get back into the game.
Well, there you go. Hey guys, those of you who are here going, what do I want? What do I want? What do I want? What am I going to get? I don't know. I'm not sure how to jump in. Please tell me more about this awesome Palladium stuff that's going on. Go to that link, and that's going to bring you here. And you're going to get to look into something that's really amazing. Sean, would you like to tell us a little bit about the 2023 Christmas surprise package?
Yeah, so the Christmas surprise package is 25 years running now. Basically, you pay $60 and you're going to get about $105, $110 worth of gear. And basically, you write your wish list to Santa. We need at least 10 to 12 items that you're interested in. Or you could even say, I like this, or I like this TV show, or I like this genre. And then Kevin will put together a Christmas surprise package for you. So you aren't sure what you're going to get. And I'll tell you, it really is a lot of fun. Plus, we do have a section there where you can write in and give us, kind of your notes, write your little letter to Santa. Hi, Santa, I really want this. I'm really excited about this. I like this. I don't like that. But we do read those comments. That's where a lot of the feedback we get from the fans comes straight from that. So check it out, because I consistently, every year, we see someone send in one Christmas grab bag order. You can tell they got the grab bag because they write it in their notes, and they're ordering 3 more grab bags because they're like, whoa, this is so amazing, and I had so much fun, and I can't believe Kevin threw that thing in that I never expected. It was perfect for me. And it's really neat, and it's also great for people that are trying to rebuild collections. I think we had, I can't remember how many he ordered. This guy this year ordered like 9.
Not what?
It's been insane. He's like, I'm rebuilding my collection, and I want. Oh, the other thing is, we sign the books. So if you want us to sign the books, we sign the books. So one of the things he said was, he was like, hey, I'm rebuilding my collection. I'm getting everything basically around 50% off, and everything signed. He was super happy, right? He just kept putting in orders, and each one he had to slow down a little bit though, because then he had to like check and see what he already had for his new wish lists, right? Each time he sent in like a blast of like 3 or 4 orders. It was something like 9 or 12. It was insane.
So there you go. Look, if you're looking to get into Palladium, and you've been listening to us talk about it here, I know it wasn't supposed to be a Palladium chat, but I'm thankful Sean showed up. So on topic. And you're not sure, but you think there's some stuff you'd like. $60. Go buy a WotC book for $60. Go buy, some other companies. You get 1 book, maybe 2. You get $100 worth of stuff out of this, and it's going to be amazing. And there's going to be, you get it signed. There's going to be a shirt if you say I want a T-shirt. This is the very definition of giving back to the community at this point in time, which is kind of what Thanksgiving's all about, by the way. Just saying. So I think it's an awesome thing, and I think if I wasn't in Canada, I would take advantage of it, but I've got a double whammy on that, which is that $60 becomes about $85 right away in Canadian funds, and then there's probably going to be about another 50 or 60 odd bucks shipping on top of that, so it's not really worth it for me. But
well, you say that, but we actually have a lot of fans that they only buy, if they're overseas or in Canada, they only buy the surprise packages, because then it kind of evens out. They're getting about $100 worth of stuff.
Yeah, so I'd have to save up for next year, because I can't peel like $200 out of my life right now and go, can I have some Palladium books, please? Just or order them and get them shipped to Brian, and then make him drive up to Canada. One or the other. 6 of one, half dozen of the other.
Cody's closer.
I'm just saying, ClareCon next year, Palladium should be there. Just saying.
It's in Toronto.
We don't go to a lot of.
I'm just saying, if you're going to go to one, ClareCon would be the one. I mean, it's run by an Anglican minister. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really wholesome family event, and a lot of YouTubers are going next year.
You're trying to sell this? No.
I'm just saying, a lot of YouTubers are going to be going next year, and it'd be kind of cool if we could go, hey, look who showed up, Palladium. That's awesome.
So we always do Gen Con, and I already have my people telling me I'm really disappointed everyone for not going to the Long Con this year. So
where's Long Con?
When I like something,
Longview, Texas.
When I like something or I like someone, I push for them all the time, because I think they deserve to be pushed for. I do not currently play Palladium. I have not played Palladium since the 90s. But Sean, no bullshit. Hanging out with you on this Joker's channel a couple of weeks ago was so much fun, and your energy about Palladium got me so excited that I'm actually thinking in 2024 of, busting up, finding myself a copy of Palladium Fantasy somewhere and doing some videos about it, because I'm just kind of interested again in diving back into that world. Because I'll tell you, I love D&D. I know I've been talking shit about D&D lately, but there's a video coming about the corner I've turned on D&D. But I'm just saying, there's some stuff, son. And, I want the new edition of Palladium Fantasy when it comes out for sure. That Kickstarter, I'm in. All right. What else we got?
Walter just put in chat $181.91 Canadian with shipping.
Hang on a second. That's groceries for 2 weeks, man.
So for us Americans, it cost me $72 after shipping and taxes and whatever.
I'm sorry you guys live in a communist hellscape.
It's not us. It's your USPS. Because when we order stuff from the UK, the shipping is reasonable and it gets here in 2 weeks. We order stuff from the US, the shipping's exorbitant. It takes a month and a half.
His Majesty's domain, right?
Well, no, actually, I had a British friend explain to me. He said because the British believe that the Royal Mail should be efficient and affordable, and it's like a point of pride for the British that their mail service is effective and affordable.
Hey, ours only gets expensive when it has to cross that border. I don't know what the problem is. It seems like it's you guys got.
We have media mail.
Yeah, there's no media mail to Canada, brother. Anyway, enough of that bullshit. I will fight you all. I might be outnumbered on this stream for once, but I got a couple of Canadians in the chat. I can throw a link, get some people in here.
Hey, and there are shops in Canada that carry our product. We have distributors, so that might be one of the best ways around.
I want, they don't keep in stock, so it becomes special order. So I can't on that whim just go in and go, hey, I'm going to buy it. Plus, I live in Quebec, man. You don't want to know what Quebec is like. You know what I mean?
I've heard the horror story.
KB says he knows where I can grab one in Montreal. That's better. That's someone was asking me about the move on Geek's stream earlier about what I regret. I regret selling my Palladium Fantasy hardcover red books. Man, I really regret that one because I found it
out of style. Yep.
And then I sold it. If you want a copy of Palladium Fantasy, I know where to grab one. If you can't find it in Montreal, KB, talk to me on Discord, brother. Always a pleasure. Always a pleasure. All right. So when I buy books, oh my God, everyone's now explaining to me how expensive it is. And this is awesome. When I buy books on eBay from Canada, the shipping is like $8 to $10 to come to the US. So I wonder whose issue it is. Is it Canada?
When it crosses into Canada, you guys are taking all the kickbacks.
So here's something you guys
stealing the monies from you. It's not
just
our
because
fault.
I love Americans and I love your lack of understanding of how the world works outside of America. Canadians not
wait.
Hang on. Let me explain.
The Mounties are taking bribes on all your mail.
Hold on. There's a world outside of America?
Yes. It's called Mexico. It's called Mexico, and it used to own Arizona. Anyway. Anyway.
And Texas.
And California. And I think even parts of Oregon. But anyway, we pay a double shot in Canada, always. We pay the exchange rate, which kills us. 30 cents minimum on the dollar, right? So $1 for you, $1.30 for us. And we pay import tariffs on all that shit because we have to protect.
Who collects those import tariffs?
Why do we have to pay import tariffs? No, hang on, Sean. Why do we have to pay import tariffs? Because you guys would flood us with cheap market and put our industries out of work overnight.
Sorry, you can't.
So Canada has to protect. We have to protect ourselves. Otherwise, no one's going to have jobs to buy your nice products.
That's one economic theory.
We've already given all of our.
That doesn't seem to be working out very well for you.
It's called NAFTA, and we took it up the ass. My favorite part is this. One of the deals we had in NAFTA was there was no import duties on printed material. And eBay charges import on printed material to Canada. So they're illegally charging import. Isn't that nice? That's nice.
You know who runs the same kind of policy
allegedly
that Canada does?
Sorry, what?
You know who runs the same kind of protectionist policies?
Oh, here we go. Let me guess. Cuba? What?
China?
So, okay. So we used to have these things called hockey teams in Canada, and you stole most of them. So we have to protect whatever we can now because we figured out that you guys just show up with your money and go, yeah, I like that there. Let me buy that there. What's that? CN Tower? I'll give you $100. You know, like that's how you guys tend to be when you come.
And then you guys are like, oh my gosh, it's real money.
Yeah, that's not what we're saying.
I'm
saying
not
if we take
thankful
the
for
money, will they
politics
go
in the
away?
four-color cafe.
What was that, sir? What was that? What
I
was
said
that?
I'm not thankful for politics in the four-color cafe.
Hey,
Blame
I'm not the one complaining about
Sean.
shipping rates.
Blame Sean for blaming Canada because you got us South Park on it, see? All right. Okay, and there's Sean giving us his Ayn Randism for the night. There we go. Thank you, sir. I hope your Libertarian conference goes well. So yeah.
Argentina.
Argentina. I actually work with a bunch of Argentinians in my job, and we were talking about this week, and I'm like, so good, bad? And they're like, one of the guys, Jose, put it best. He just said, all I care about is, okay, look, you're going to steal money from us. We know this. But could you just not steal all of the money? I was like, that's a pretty good view of your political system. We've had like 30, 40 years of all the money being stolen. Could you just get a bit back from the new? We know you're corrupt, but could we just get a bit back, please?
Just a little less.
All right. So, thankfulness, Palladium. Let's talk about Star Trek. 28 viewers.
No.
Let's see how long that lasts.
No.
Oh, Jesus, we're doing it. All right, we're doing it. No, you're our basement. Get it right. As a comedian of mine, friend of mine once said, and I love this always, he goes, Canada is North America's designated driver, and thank God you're in the car, because have you seen the rest of us, America, Mexico, the Caribbean? That's just an accident waiting to happen. So thank God Canada's at the wheel. But anyway. Malachi's leaving. What's going on, Malachi? Where you going? Is he upset? Jets, hockey. Whoa. The Flames were originally in Atlanta. Oh, so we got one? Oh, lucky us. Shut up. Anyway, that's actually a good question. Sean, everybody, what is the one setting Palladium has not done that you would love to see done? Now, I saw in the chats earlier some people saying space opera, but what else? Or space opera, if that's your druthers.
I don't know if it needs it, but I mean, I know people told me that they'd like to see a cyberpunk. I would like a true space opera, an SDC space opera setting, because I know you can actually use.
That means. I don't know what that means.
A space opera? More exploratory.
No, SDC space opera. Why SDC on that label? I don't understand.
Because I prefer armor rating to just doing damage. I think that the mega damage gets out of control. I'm not saying it's bad. I'm just saying for my style, I like things to be a bit deadlier and so forth. That's why I like TMNT. Even though I use some Rifts concepts, I prefer TMNT over Rifts. Big reasons.
But if it was in SDC, you'd be like, okay, it's good.
Well, I mean, you have to be more than just.
So if we published a version of Phase World that had SDC and everything. Well,
Phase World is, again, you see, Heathen Dog's Rifts guy, and I don't want to dog Palladium because I like Palladium, but Rifts is not for me. It's way too over the top for me.
Phase World's not Rifts.
Well, it's still Rifts. It's got. I mean, we did a video on Center. In and of itself was crazy. So for my tastes, I'm just saying, for my taste, it's too much. Now, it's easy for anybody to tone that down, but I don't want to design a new game to make that happen. And that's actually what I'm doing right now. Is I'm designing my own game to make that happen. But
you could just convert all the MDC to STC.
It's more than that. Conversion
book.
I understand. It's more.
Well,
than
but
that.
that's my point. Is like, well, what is it besides that?
I'd like to have good exploration rules akin to
God,
say.
Is that a Rift's conversion book I just saw Cody go grab?
Like something like Stars Without Number has, for example. And again, all this can be converted in. I understand that. I can take. That's why I have a million books behind me, is because I use bits and pieces of each one. But it's just something.
So you want a space exploration? Because I don't know if that's.
So space opera and space exploration are not the same thing. One Star Trek, one Star Wars.
Very different.
They overlap, and I think that Star Trek is some space opera, and I think that Star Wars is some space exploration. Absolutely.
What? No.
Yes.
Star Trek and Star Wars are very, very, very different.
You don't just have to be, oh my God, it's a tachyon field, and all of a sudden, it's not space opera anymore. That's not the way that works.
So space opera is opera being the key word in it, space meaning it's happening in space, but operatic is the key word. Star Trek is anything but operatic unless you're counting Klingon operas at this point in time.
No, I'm not the disparity, but the dynamic between all the factions. That's definitely operatic.
That's okay.
Star Trek?
Yeah, absolutely.
You know what? You two were
I'm
having a
not
lovely
saying,
fight, and then they
I'm
got in the
not
middle of it,
saying
and that was
it is
stupid
pure
of me.
space opera. Let's not be binary here, ones and zeros. I'm saying that it's got operatic aspects to it. And yes, space exploration
Right.
can include space opera.
Let me play my role here.
Uh-oh.
You know?
In this role-playing game?
a traveler like game, but set in Palladium. Is that what we mean, Max?
I can go with that. I can go with that, except for, again, you could definitely say that Phase World accomplishes that. For me, I just like Rift's toned down, so that's why Rift doesn't work for me. It's too much. It's too.
Hang on,
it's too much.
Real fast
Well,
before we all get it down that rabbit hole too far. Anybody want to guess what my answer to this is going to be? Anybody been here long enough to know what my answer to this statement
You
is
love
gonna
Walter
be?
MC. He's the best guy ever.
No, his statement, not Walter himself.
No, but that's what you're going to say about.
Oh, okay. So you're saying I'm going to love him. Okay, Cody, any thoughts on what I'm going to say about Strange New Worlds of Space Opera in regards to the Star Trek, Star Wars, what they are argument?
No, go ahead. I'll let you.
Okay, I'll just go ahead and say it. It's not fucking Star Trek. Okay, moving on.
Why do you yell at me when I say? Never mind.
Why do I yell? Because it's my channel here.
No. I'm just, when I say things aren't things, I get yelled at. But you know,
Of course, that's how it just works.
Well, that's how you're.
Game Masters has bought himself an Xmas 2023 surprise package. Way to go, Game Masters!
Nice.
I can't wait to see you unbox that on your channel. Oh yeah, that's gonna be cool. Let me know when that video goes up, man.
So, but I
you
can
send us a link.
but I can still see what Max is talking about, where they're
listen, I'm just playing for comedy.
Yeah.
There are space operatic elements in Star Trek from time to time, especially the old series, and there are some attempts at hard sci-fi in Star Wars sometimes, not often, but sometimes. I mean, ultimately it's about space.
There is a Venn diagram there, even if it is kind of small. But
it is small. I was just giving you a hard time. I mean, I think it's
why is everybody
that's
picking
why
on
I'm
me?
trying to make sure I understood. You know, I'm asking the questions because I'm trying to make sure I
Look, I
understand.
love
what you mean,
Robotech,
right?
and that has MDC in it, right? But it just felt toned down, so to speak.
I am the captain now.
The point that I was actually going to make is, even though Phase World is kind of its own setting, it does kind of have some of that baggage in that it's a Rift's Dimension book, a Rift's Dimension setting. And so it does kind of pull some of that baggage along with it. Whereas if you had something new, we'll call it, Palladium science fiction role playing, that was an SDC kind of setting that is more akin to Traveler.
I'm sorry. I'm gonna just let's not use the term SDC setting. You're just gonna make my brain light on fire. SDC has nothing to do with the story. It's purely a mechanic. Okay.
Well, mechanics help actually shape a game, though. It's one of the things that
that's true. That's true. But I mean, it's completely interchangeable if you want it to be. I mean,
that's fair. I mean, if we're talking specifically what Palladium doesn't have, I was giving my wish list. The cyberpunk thing is the only thing I can think of off the top of my head that it just does not have. I mean, the way somebody told me, just you go ahead and use the Rift's Bionics book and put it in Beyond the Supernatural and you've got it. I'm like, I don't think that works.
No, I don't at all.
I think the closest you'd have is Ninjas and Super Spies.
Aside from the SDC Space Opera side trek we just went on, Space Opera Trek, see what I did there? Okay, let's get back on the point. Max is saying he'd like to see a trad cyberpunk setting book or thing for Palladium. Great. Can we move on? We will. Cody.
Yeah, so one of my favorite Palladium games was Recon.
Ooh,
and
Advanced Recon?
Yes, the revised Recon. This is the old one. I'm not sure what. I got this when I was a kid, so 1986.
That's the only one, basically, Cody.
Yeah. So I haven't looked at the new version of Recon. So maybe I'm wrong in this, but I would like a recon game that's more in line with the other Palladium games, and more updated for modern, the modern times.
Modern
And
combat.
now I want to play a squad that gets sucked into the Rifts world.
And also, it'd be cool. I don't, and maybe this is just dreamland, but because I'm sure Recon's not that popular, so it probably doesn't have as much demand. But having like source books of different vehicles and weapons and stuff, even just a couple, would be really, really cool. Because Recon was a game we really enjoyed when I was a kid, and we played it a lot.
Baby.
What
Nice.
did you enjoy about it?
Always liked military stuff, and it was just a different kind of role playing setting, because that was now there's a lot of other military role playing games, I guess, but like Recon was always my favorite military role playing game. I know there was like Twilight 2000, but it was very specific, setting wise, whatever. But like Recon, you could do anything. Like you could play like a realistic kind of Vietnam kind of thing, or you could play like mercenaries, or you could do Twilight 2000. So it was this generic overall kind of like military experience, and it was kind of fun to do something different. And I always dug that. And I grew up watching all those 80s and 90s military action movies and stuff.
Commando,
Like
Rodney.
Commando
yeah.
and Uncommon
Delta
Valor and all that
Force.
stuff.
Yeah.
And I always love playing that kind of stuff.
Game Master says for $10, thank you so much, man. Thanks for the great channel, Bear. Wonderful guests you have on tonight. And guess what? You're going to be one of them now that you got the fiber optic. I've been wanting to get this guy on the channel for so long. We're making this happen, GM. It's going to happen. Okay, so I like that. Advanced
I like
Recon.
that too. Yeah. Quick question for someone. One of the comments in here, someone said, Walter MC said, STC setting equals low or no magic setting. Does that mean that Palladium Fantasy is not an STC setting?
Or Heroes
Does that
Unlimited?
mean that Heroes Unlimited is not an STC setting? I'm the genuine question. Max, do you consider Heroes Unlimited an SDC setting?
Yeah, absolutely. No, but I like the gameplay in Heroes Unlimited better than Rifts. The way everything,
because of the damage.
Yeah, like
because of
somebody
the
said,
damage
just multiply it by 100. It's not. It's in fact that's the problem. I don't want to multiply by 100.
Right.
I'd rather use armor rating.
I know what you mean. I just wanted to make sure I wasn't missing some other quintessential.
If that is, then that's not in my brain. So
you're both pretty ladies. We'll take you both to the dance. One can wear a dress that says SDC, and one can wear a dress that says MDC, and we'll dance with both of you.
MDC is fine.
So Brian, what's
Brian, what's yours, man? I'm going to tell you mine after.
I'm actually not going to ask. The problem with the question is the fact that they've done everything for Palladium.
I've done everything.
I mean,
it's hard to say what they haven't done. There's no official cyberpunk setting. There's no like official modern setting. So I like well, like Cody brings up Recon. So there isn't, Recon is a completely different game system. So that is an issue there. But what
the only one worth having.
I actually saw that. Where did I saw that?
Ryan, focus.
Recently. Anyways, squirrels.
Goldfish.
But I am going to, instead of asking for a new setting, I would like to see a revised and expanded. It doesn't necessarily have to be revised, just an expanded Ninjas and Super Spies. For some reason, the fact that you just get that
3 million martial arts isn't enough for you.
Well, but like that's all you get out of it. Like, you get
so hang on. Have you ever heard of Danger International from Hero Games? Ryan?
No.
So Danger International was the game that is what Cody's talking a little bit. It was the 80s action films, Miami Vice, Against the Ninja, Miami Connection. It was that game where you made the characters who may be ex-soldiers, might be ex-cops, might be this, might be that, and they've come together to fight crime. You know what I mean? So you could take Ninjas and Super Spies, you could take Advanced Recon, and you could hodgepodge it together very easily. What you're talking about sounds like you want Danger International Palladium style.
That is, I would absolutely love that. Like, instead of necessarily doing, like, unfortunately, Recon has the brand, has the name, has the recognition. So there will be another Recon at some point. But yes, if they took Ninjas and Super Spies and Recon and just squished them together and did all of that, I would love that. I would be all
Fair.
over that. Like,
And you are familiar with Mystic China?
I am familiar with it, but I have never. That's one I've actually never owned.
Are you familiar with the Mystic UK? Wait, you've been there.
But it does expand on the core ninjas and super spies, but maybe not the direction that you're talking
right.
about.
Well, that's I like a China wushu kind of game isn't really my thing. So having something more like Bear was saying, kind of that 80s Schwarzenegger, Van Damme kind of thing going on would be great.
No, I agree. It's a great idea because I loved the only hero game I ever enjoyed reading cover to cover was Danger International because I'm really into that kind of weird, 80s dumb action films,
Too bad we don't have Lynn here because Lynn has a game that is just that.
Oh, yeah? Yeah, I'm sure Len does. Len's not here. Len's busy in Florida playing Florida Hold'em. Remember what that was all about? Let's not go down that road again, please.
Is that a Florida man thing?
No. Too long to explain. Go watch one of the previous 4-Color Cafes where Len went off on orgies and drugs and it just got weird. It was really weird. We figured out it's how you play poker in Florida. Okay, for me, I'm torn. I would either love to see a Star Frontiers, Star Ace, sci-fi type setting where you're out exploring the stars and meeting all these other races and all that kind of crazy stuff, and sort of like that sort of thing really appeals to me. It's on a level, it's really kind of cool. The other thing, and I've told you this before and I will say it again, I want super robots versus kaiju. And I don't mean real robots. I mean super robots. Goldarak, Grendizer, Mazinger Z, that type of thing. Voltron versus fucking kaiju, like giant monsters. I want that shit.
Have you seen the Rifts Bestiary book?
I don't want it as a Rift series book. I want it as its own game that isn't Rifts, is my point. That's my point. Just like your space opera fixation there, buddy. Didn't like Phase World wasn't good enough for you, huh? But we're good on that. So there we go. So that's the type of thing, right? And yeah, Alien. If only I like this. This is a good statement, by the way. If Aliens Unlimited was its own game, right? Like, I mean, that's sort of what a little bit of what
it kind of is. I mean, I have the Galaxy Guide. I used that as far as a bunch of my references, and it did help.
You could really do a good Guardians of the Galaxy style campaign using that for sure.
Real quick, Manta Ray of Hope says Venture Brothers. That, but not the comedy for my setting, because you have like
so you want a little bit of Man from U.N.C.L.E. meets G.I. Joe.
How often do I bring up I want something G.I. Joe like literally like in this world that I'm very bad about developing? What did I do? I took the organization creation rules out of Ninjas and Super Spies, and I made one. Here's the good guys and here's the bad guys, and I used that to like kind of stat out, okay, here's the two big powers in my setting. Well,
I think that's exactly what it was intended to do, right?
Yeah. So. I'm sorry, I love when Palladium does that. It's like, here, make a circus. What? Why? Okay, but cool. Here's the rules for it. I love those little things all throughout the Palladium books. So
I'm going to answer Eli on this one. I'm talking the Go Nagai role-playing game at this point, if you understand what I'm saying. Like, I'm talking that. Like, you could have your Super Sentai Science Ninja team if you want, but they better get inside some fucking super robots, is all I'm saying. And Nerds Nerd, high five. Decent kaiju game would take my money immediately. I agree. And
so I probably shouldn't tell you that Savage Worlds already has that, right?
I don't play Savage Worlds, sir.
So
no. Though it would be nice to see you take some stuff back from them and bring it over to the Palladium side of the Force. That would be interesting. Just saying.
Like, what do you mean?
Like maybe bring some of their intellectual properties over to a Palladium system. That could be fun. I would love to see Deadlands done with a Palladium system. That'd be kind of badass. I know it's never going to happen, but I'm just saying it would be badass.
I think it could probably be done fairly well with Rift's New West.
Actually, that's the funny thing. The Terra on the Dark Frontier campaign box set for Savage Rifts is totally that kind of a thing.
Dimension Book Savage Worlds.
Just make the Savage Worlds, the Rift Savage Worlds conversion guide. But no, listen. At the end of the day, we're all talking crazy stuff, right? We're blue sky, and we're saying this is what we'd like, this is what we want. But ultimately, I think the point is that with the new layouts that are coming, with the clarifications of the rules and the better sort of section layout and all that, Palladium is now poised to become a really good game system for people who want to try different things. And I think that's a really good thing. It feels like, hey, Palladium, your day has arrived. You know what I mean? It's time to go to the Palladium parade because
it only took 40 years. No,
well, yeah, but listen,
I know I'm
doing pretty good for a while there.
The timing right now couldn't be better. Also,
it's the time. That's the thing. I've lived through the GURPS parade. I've lived through the D6 parade. I've lived through the D20 parade. I've lived through the Savage Worlds parade. I've lived through the Fate parade, and now I'm living through the 5e parade. Well, I want to see the Palladium parade personally, because it's venerable enough that it deserves its day in the sun in the major market, as opposed to being a niche.
Absolutely. Yep.
So
especially to show that you can stick to your guns in terms of your design philosophy, not changing everything, not just looking out at like, okay, what's going to make us the most money? And I'm not saying you guys don't, you listen to fans, we know that, but you do what you're going to do. And I think that's missing in a lot of the bigger publishing companies right now, where it's like, it's less about the fans and more about the pocketbook.
Yeah. Well, again, that's why we didn't sell out. I mean, that's been options multiple times in the past. Including since I joined Palladium, and we don't want to answer to a board of directors or a bunch of people that are investors, stockholders, all that kind of jazz. So we'll definitely continue to do that and do what we think is the right thing moving forward for the games and for the fans.
Hang on, I got to address something from the chat. I didn't forget it. I'm just pretending.
Was there really a parade for that?
Oh, fuck, dude. So one of the things I learned is to no longer hang out at rpg.net. Why? Because their darlings piss me off. I have yet to see that community embrace a game where I go, oh, this is fucking amazing. There are always games that I read and go,
hold on, you're not banned from there? Because I think you're literally the first person I know that has not been banned from that site.
So again, remember that conversation we had, Max, where I said if you wave your dick in the wind for too long, someone's going to cut it off?
Mine's fine.
I choose to
not
wave my
banned
dick
from there.
in my house, sir. I wave my dick in my house. I don't go to other people's houses.
I got you. No, it's funny. I'm not banned from there, but I also haven't posted since like 2006 or something. So
before the hemorrhage, we understand. Before the aneurysm made you the way you are.
Before the 80 disclaimers on the site.
No, it's just one of those things where I remember I've been through, because I've been there since I think almost since they started that forum, and just watching every time the darlings come up and everybody loses their mind and there's 700 threads about it and the game's the fucking game. I've never liked them. I've never liked those games, and I'm like, oh, check it out, it could be a cool one. And now I'm at the point where they like it, I'm not interested anymore. Thanks, I'm good. I won't enjoy that. So for me, the YouTube community is where I'm now learning about games that I'm interested in, right? And games that I want to try or games that I want to know about. And Palladium was so off my fucking radar until Max brought that whole thing together where we all wound up. He's like, hey, you want to come on? I'm like, I don't really know TMNT, but sure, I'll come on. It could be fun. And then as a result of all that, I'm like, God damn, I got a little fire in my belly for some Palladium. Nerds here. Now she's going to talk some tough talk. Let's go, Marine.
All I'm saying, someone mentioned earlier, BattleTech hasn't changed, and that's absolutely true. Davian fans were basic as back in the 80s as they are today.
Okay, part one, I disagree. Part two, completely agree.
Whatever. No one cares what the Capellan bitches think.
Xixing Liao.
Baby. This is good. I like this. I'm not banned from RPGNet.
Yeah, right.
It's RPGNet. It's RPG.net. It's form.
Is immediately banned.
Oh, you were on Bear's channel. Banned.
No, actually, see you haven't figured out my sneaky plan. I get enough people like Sean on here that they know, and they go, "Oh, we can't ban him because he keeps talking to people we've heard of. Damn it! And then it's like,
Do they know me there?
well, they know Palladium, that's for sure. Okay, so we are at the point of chaos, which is a good place to be. We got about 20 minutes left in the stream, so we'll open it up to anything. Anybody want to discuss anything, any particular topic we want to bring up? Go ahead. The floor is wide open. Hell, if you basic ladies want to talk about BattleTech for the next 20 minutes, fill your boots. I don't care.
I'm gonna pose a question.
You better not be Shadowrun related, because I'll kick you the fuck out.
It is not Shadowrun related. It's topic related.
Yes.
Why does he look drunk as he's asking this? I got a question.
I've had 3 hours of sleep. Thank you very much.
Oh, well, that explains it.
Okay. What is everyone playing for Thanksgiving? I mean, you're going to do Thanksgiving, but I mean, what games are you playing over this holiday weekend?
I am bringing some games over tomorrow so I can play with my nieces and nephews because I've been teaching them the dark ways. I am tempted to bring them into the role-playing world. One of them is old enough, but the others are a little too young. So we'll probably stick to board games, and I think we're going to play some Talisman tomorrow, as well as maybe some Munchkin.
Have you looked into Hero Kids?
I have
Kids
not.
is amazing. It's what's his name? Justin. God, Heroes Against Darkness. Oh my God, Justin Holiday. He's an Australian guy. He's a really good designer, and Hero Kids is a really good game.
That's it. Heathen Dog covered it like 5-6 years ago, and it's one of our most. Even to this day, it still gets a bunch of views.
Oh, right on. I'll go check it out for sure.
And it's on
Yeah,
Drive
because
RPG.
one of my nieces is 9, and she's definitely, that was the same age I started role playing, so she's
In fact,
fine.
I think it's 4 to 10 is what he says the game is for, and it's got like 3 distinct versions of it where you just roll a die.
Yeah,
Then to the point where the 10-year-old does a little bit of math.
that's cool. Yeah, I'll definitely go check it out then, because I've been looking for something that they can all play, because they're, one's 9, one's 4, and one's, way too young. He's like 2 or whatever. We just play make believe outside. But yeah, I'll go check this out for sure.
And you know what? I cannot ever say enough good things about Justin. He is a stand-up human being, like really a good dude. So certainly, if you guys want to go pick something up, go pick up his game. It's cheap. It's like $5 American right now, I think. So that's worth it, man. Worth it.
Yep, I'll definitely go get it.
Brian, I won't be playing anything Thanksgiving related because it's not a holiday weekend in Canada. I got to go to work tomorrow and Friday, and then I have the weekend off like normal. So nothing.
I'm very sorry, Bear.
You're just like me.
Just like you.
I'll be working.
When you almost own the company, I mean, that's your fault. No, it's good. It's a good problem to have, though.
Yeah, first world problems. Max, what are you playing this weekend for the holidays?
Nothing. I'll be writing mine and watching football, and I may or may not have a show Sunday. Or Friday, I may or may not have one Friday because I know we have the members only on Friday, but there may or may not be a public stream after that, partially depending on Sunday because I'm supposed to have a giveaway. That's why it matters.
I have a game on Friday night, actually. Now that you remind me, thank you.
Let's see. There you go. And somebody sent me a topic they want me to cover, and I haven't decided if I really want to or not. But cool. No games.
Cool. Nerds nerd.
Yeah, so tomorrow I'm gonna play How Much Turkey and Pie Will Kill Me and Eat One Bite Less. And then hopefully at some point this weekend, I've got a table set up for some BattleTech scenario play where the Jade Falcons will be attacking a Steiner city with some.
Can they both lose?
For my opponent.
Can you have one Capellan mech wander aimlessly, nonchalantly through the battlefield, and they both gang up and beat the shit out of it, please?
That's probably what would happen.
There's going to be one. I'm drawing a blank. What is their intelligence service that starts with an M?
The Maskarovka.
The Maskarovka. We're going to have one Maskarovka agent somewhere on the field. They might get stepped on. We'll see.
There you go. That's the spirit. That is the spirit. All right. I want to take a minute to talk directly to Sean, if you guys don't mind, for a quick second. Sean, I have had plenty of people on here who are publishers and stuff like that. I mean, probably the most common guest I get on here is Matt Forbeck, who always comes in and he's a great guest to have on. And a lot of back and forth happens in the panel or from the chat. And, everybody plays this corporate line, you know what I mean, as much as they can, where they're very polite and they're very friendly and they're very... You're a punch thrower in a room full of middle finders, my friend, and that's actually what I like about you. Is someone says something, what, like what, and you just go right at them. You're just like, come explain that. What do you mean SDC space? What? And it's like I absolutely love that about you, because it is exactly what our hobby used to be like. There was this, before all the corporations got involved, there was this freedom of communication that happened between creators and purchasers and gamers, to the point where if they all saw each other at a convention, they probably just acted like, peers to a certain degree. Now, with a lot of the games being owned by massive corporations with HR departments that are basically policing everything that you can say, everything you can talk about, it's literally a refreshing breath of air to have someone who can just talk like one of the boys or one of the gang or one of the girls or whatever the hell you want to say. And I really please don't change, because knowing where you are in the company, it gives me so much hope for the future of Palladium. And that's my nice thing I'm going to say to you for the day. No more after
That's
this.
a nice thing to say. Thank you.
You get one. Everybody gets one. And someday Max Liaus will come, but it's in a box under the tree for future Christmas, Max.
It's cold this year. I know that already. So maybe hopefully next year.
Cole? No. I'm going to go find some frozen dog shit and be an answer.
That's too good for me. You know that.
Novelty dog shit. Oh, it's not novelty shit. All right. Any closing thoughts we want to have? Anything we want to say? Cody, anything you'd like to wrap up as we head off for the Thanksgiving weekend for the Americans and just a regular fucking work week for the Canadians?
Well, as an honorary Canadian, I want to say I hope you have a good holiday, even if you're not having a holiday, Bear. But us Americans will be partaking of turkey and good food and alcohol, probably in the good American way, and be having a good time. And I hope everybody has a good holiday, and I hope everybody gets some gaming in this weekend. I know I will be. And it's just always good to hang out with friends on a Wednesday night, talking shit and talking games.
Nice. Everybody head over to his channel, subscribe. This man deserves 1,000 subscribers. I don't know why the hell they're not there. Go watch his stuff. It's great fucking content, worth the time. Brian.
First off, I am grateful not only to everybody here on the panel. I'm grateful to the chat. I'm grateful to our community. I have said this to multiple people, but not that I was necessarily in a bad place this year, but I think I was in kind of just like a neutral place, and it's been a very good year with how things have developed. Everybody be grateful for the friends and the family in your life, and don't forget the good things that can come out of it. And other than that, just play some games, whether it's Palladium or Shadowrun or Earth Dawn or whatever. You all know I take the jokes and drive them into the ground. But go out, have some fun, set all the differences to the side and just play some games and have some fun.
Nice. Nerd, final words.
Soon we'll be dead, so have some fun where you can. And if you're from a country that's put boots on the moon, I hope you have a great holiday.
Well played.
Is this how y'all are taught to act when you're in someone else's home? My God. Fucking savages.
No, they send us to school for this stuff.
Oh, there you go. Yeah, well, subscribe to Gaming with ADHD. Subscribe to A Nerd's Nerd. These are good channels. They deserve your love. Max, any parting words for us, sir?
Yeah, well, I mean, I want to say once again, I'm thankful to everybody in this community who supports any one of us. Whether you don't like me, but you love Bear or something, that's weird. But go for it. No, seriously, any support.
Enjoy your holiday gifts, gentlemen.
Anybody who supports any of these folks here, and hopefully you're supporting them all, that'd be great. I'm definitely looking forward to the TMNT Kickstarter. I literally did back it for my personal account and my Legion of Myth account, so I'm looking forward to that. Hopefully the wife doesn't know how high the backing was off the personal account. And then the one other thing that I want to add from what Bear was saying is that it's not just Sean. Kevin's the same way, and I think that's one of the reasons why we got along so well when we're talking. Because whether we're talking, it's like us, Bear. The 2-hour after streams are I mean, that's just normal fare, and I like people who act like people. And that's what I love, gamer nerds, and that's what's fantastic about them. So everybody here is awesome. So subscribe to them all, join them all. Hell, unsubscribe from me and subscribe to them if you got a account or something you got to worry about.
Fair enough. Mr. Sean Owen Robertson.
Oh, well, I'm just glad to be here. Thank you guys for having me on. And
we fucking adopted you at this point, brother.
Putting up with the TMNT chat and the Christmas packages. I mean, you guys really have been nice, even if you don't seem like it. And I do love the direct conversation, right? I love having some fun, making some jokes with each other. It is one of those things where if I was, one of those guys that was smart enough to have a PR team or whatever, I probably wouldn't say half the stuff I do. But what, you only live once, so let's do it. And it seems to be going well. People seem really excited about the future Palladium. That's what I really think is here as big part of this Kickstarter. For TMNT and Other Strangenesses. It really is about what's going to be coming in the future, and you're getting a preview of it, and people are super stoked about it. And so can't wait to bring that kind of stuff to everybody else.
Good. And there's the obligatory late in the show Riffs Antarctica comment.
You're right. No, it's Refits Antarctica.
Thank you for being on, John. It's a real pleasure having you here, man. It's all bullshit aside. And for everybody who super chatted tonight, I made a decision, which is this. I am now $156 away from ordering a Christmas box from Palladium. So now until the 24th, every super chat I get goes into that pool towards seeing if I can raise the $181 Canadian, or say 182 to round it off.
Hey, can I make an announcement? Because I've got something possibly.
Now, wait, if they super chat in American dollars, that means more Canadian.
I got cats to feed, man. What are you doing? Shut up. Shut up.
And we can talk after the stream if you don't want me plugging something. But
I got plug away, man.
So depending on what this week entails as far as live streaming goes, I have 2 Palladium $75 gift certificates that I'm giving away, and the intent of those is to go 2 Christmas packages. So
thanks, Brian.
So Bear, that could help you out.
Well, you never know. I don't know how I win it, but if I have to sleep with one of the judges, I'm not too proud.
I might know one.
Ooh, is it Connell? He looks like he'd be a gentle lover. All right, listen, everybody, thank you so much for hanging out with us tonight. Thanks for the super chats. Thanks for the great conversation. Thank you for making what's going to be in February my 2nd year of this channel something I do not regret ever, and something I enjoy and look forward to. I literally had a friend who wanted to go for coffee tonight. I'm like, if I'm home by 7, he's like, well, I can pick you up at 7. Well, then we're not going for coffee tonight, buddy. Pick another night. But Wednesdays are sacred. And Friday night, we're going to have another session of Bastard Sword with the boys, though I think we might have a talk about whether we'll be using Bastard Sword moving forward. They're also looking forward to being the heroic playtest when we have the playtest ready for that, so things could change, but that's going to be going on. I'm going to do a chill stream on Saturday, probably, just because, it's going to be Thanksgiving weekend. A lot of you are going to be up to here with your fucking families, so maybe you'll need a little break to come in and talk some shit, and we'll do that then. Monday night, we're back with, finally, Against the Dark Master. I believe Monday night we have an Against the Dark Master, and then Star Trek will not be for another week after that. So for those of you who are wanting what's happening to the crew of the Sojourner, it's going to be another week before we come back for our bi-weekly Tuesdays, but that's okay. Until then, peace, love, geek, and happy Thanksgiving, you ungrateful colonials.
Night, everybody.